How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about one of our newest characters coming out in 1.3 because yes, we just had the live stream yesterday. And I'm not gonna lie, these two characters are definitely ones that I'm going to be picking up specifically because A, they look very exciting, and B, one of these guys look a little too strong when it comes to what they're able to do with the current meta right now, especially the one we're talking about today, which is Yanagi. And Yanagi is going to be electric anomaly, which honestly, we've had a lot of anomaly characters come out, a lot of anomaly support, and even more so, now we're getting another anomaly main DPS. So this is going to be a character that will be fighting against someone like, not Caesar, someone like Jane, for their, I should say, spot in the spotlight when it comes to anomaly. These two do have different elements. While Jane is physical and Yanagi is a electric character, they still technically are fighting for the same role, but they have two separate teams. Especially when looking at Yanagi, she's going to have someone like, let's say, Seth, and maybe even some type of support, maybe Bernice specifically, and then Jane has another set of characters that they can use when it comes to the Sons of Kaladin faction. There's a lot of different things that you can pull out when it comes to the two different anomaly teams, so we can expect Jane and Caesar to possibly fight both sides of Shield defense when it comes to allowing them to be the main DPS, because you wouldn't want Yanagi and you wouldn't want Jane to be on the same side or the same team, just because they both want a lot of field time, and with a lot of field time, that means that one of them isn't able to perform as they want to, because they really want that sub DPS from someone like Bernice and whatever supports you can give them when it comes to what's available to them. So realistically, looking at Yanagi, she looks very interesting. I think by far she might be one of the coolest characters in the game, and that's already crazy to say because I feel like I say this every patch. But with Yanagi, she actually has stance moves or stance buffs, which I think is really cool. And not only that, she has moves to transition into them as well, which looks super exciting without a doubt. Yanagi is by far a character that looks really nice in what she's able to do with the different stances of what she has. Apparently she has buffs dedicated to each stance, and if you're able to weave between these stances well enough or smooth enough, you're able to actually keep up both sets of buffs, which I think is a really good thing. It heightens the skill ceiling on this character while also keeping the character relatively easy to use for whoever wants to just play around with Yanagi. But there is the benefit of, if you want to master this character, if you want to get good with this character, you're able to broaden up that skill ceiling and you're able to switch in the two stances, making sure you always have a buff uptime for this character, because she looks absolutely strong in what she's able to do. And thankfully enough, she carries the same aspect of being an anomaly character that most anomaly characters have now, which is if you're an anomaly or faction, then you get the passive, which is really nice to see. But the main thing I want to talk about Yanagi right now, because this is by far the most busted thing I'm hearing of, especially because of how strong this can be. When Yanagi is, I think, in her talent, if I'm not wrong, she actually is able to proc disorder without wasting the anomaly buildup that's currently on the character, which I think, what in the world is that? Because that is definitely by far one of the strongest things to hear, and we don't know the implication of it completely, whether it's only the electric anomaly that they're talking about, whether it's both anomalies, whether it's the disorder itself. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that could happen that is going to be a question mark up until we're able to showcase her off. Like, does the disorder not proc as fast because we already get that second one? Did the anomalies in either side, whether it's lightning or fire, are they going to reset? There's just a lot of stuff we're looking at when it comes to Yanagi, but realistically, she looks like a very strong character in regards to what she has in her kit. Being able to proc anomaly, being able to build up electric anomaly very quickly, it's a really nice thing to see, and especially with being able to re-trigger the disorder, I think that's a pretty big step up for the anomaly team. Now, I do want to know how strong this is going to be, because as we know, physical anomaly is definitely one of the strongest reactions in the game without a doubt, so that's not something to be, I can say, surprised about, because physical anomaly drops these nukes off where you're able to do 500k, 600k, 400k, and that's with Jane, with not being able to do like 900k to a million disorders or a million physical anomalies. Even without the crit, they still do like 100 to 200k, which is absolutely absurd. That's why I want to see what they're going to do with Yanagi specifically, because Yanagi is not physical, Yanagi is electric, and with Yanagi being electric is one of the lower scaling explosions are one of the lower scaling reactions in the game, which means that the damage is definitely gonna have to come from somewhere. I do think it might amount a little bit more to the disorder itself rather than the reactions by themselves, because burn realistically isn't the strongest reaction either, although we do have Bernice, so she's giving us ticks of burns, she's giving us burn damage consistently, fire anomaly consistency. We also have something else like lightning, who's also going to be proccing reactions as well. So I'm pretty sure that they're playing around not just the damage itself from the fire reaction and the damage itself from the lightning reaction, but rather it's going to be like how we said already with her talent. She's going to be basing herself on the disorder, so she's going to proc the disorder, and that's going to be a crap ton of damage, and then they're going to go proc the disorder again because they didn't waste the anomaly buildup. So that's 2 disorders, and that's probably going to make up the damage that we would have seen if we were to use somebody like Jane. So there realistically will be better times to use each or character if you already have Jane and you're getting Yanagi, because realistically if you're fighting with any character that's like a human or anything like that, then 100% Jane might be that character that you use for that side. If Yanagi comes out, you're most likely going to be using her on the robots, you're going to be using her on the characters that are lightning weak, because most of the time it's going to make a lot more sense if you're using these characters against their weakness that they have inside the game. But realistically, I do want to see how strong the disorder damage is and how strong she boosts it up, especially with how fire and lightning aren't the craziest reactions in the game. So it's going to be very exciting. I do think realistically her playstyle is definitely going to be very, very exciting to play with, just because having the stance moves, or being able to move into different stances with different moves in her kit, that is really cool to see. I'm not going to lie, that's a really nice thing to see in this game, and definitely going to be playing around with that as soon as we're able to showcase her. But going and looking to her banner does look his looks alright. We're gonna see Yanagi with the electric anomaly, we're gonna see Ambi, and then we're gonna see Billy. Ambi, it's a pretty okay stunner. She's the stunner you get in the first part of the game, and with a lot of her dupes she gets a lot more energy, so it means that you can spam her skill a little bit more, which helps out the character a lot. While Billy, I'm not gonna say 100% in regards to how strong he is, because I actually don't know. I have him M6 as well if I'm not wrong, and I haven't played with him either. So let me know in the comments below if Billy is worth it at M6, if Billy's worth it at all, because realistically a lot of people just have not used him since the beginning of the game, and it's been a really long time since I've seen anything Billy related come up. So this is probably going to be what it is for Yanagi, and realistically you're just pulling for Yanagi by itself, and then with the actual W rank engine, or S rank engine, my bad, you have Ambi's signature, and of course Billy's. But realistically all there is to say is we're looking at Yanagi, and looking at Yanagi means that we're probably going to be in a disorder comp more than the reactions themselves, because realistically with Jane, and we just saw it right there, actually I did not notice that you got the double disorder right there. That's one disorder right here, and then she procced another one right there. So that's 2 disorders back to back, and this is hopefully the main method of her damage, because we have her best team most likely would end up being Yanagi, Bernice, and then Seth, because Seth is going to be there for the extra lightning damage, extra anomaly buildup, he's going to be there for the anomaly proficiency, and it's a lot of really good buffs, plus the little shield that we get as well. That is going to be synergizing well with Yanagi. And then we also have Bernice as well for the off-field fire application, off-field fire damage, off-field takes. A lot of really good stuff that comes from this team, so that probably will be one of her best in the game right now. And if we take out Seth when it comes to Yanagi, what is Jane left with? Jane possibly has what other characters to be able to be put with, because I feel like I'm going to be lost right now when it comes to what characters to put for Jane, because like I said, they are going to be the same role for the most part. But realistically, that's going to be it for this video when it comes to Yanagi. She will be a competitor towards Jane, but realistically I think they'll eventually separate. I think they have their own niches, with Jane being the more explosive character while Yanagi is more of the synergistic character for the teams. And it's really cool to see that we're getting another anomaly character. I do wonder when we're going to get another attack character that plays similarly to Ellen or similarly to Juyin, because realistically we haven't seen that in a long time. We've been in an anomaly meta for quite some time, and not only that, we've been having a lot of supports, a lot of defense units come out, which they've all been absolutely amazing. It's just that we haven't had a DPS in so long. So I know it's only 1.3, it's kind of crazy, it's still this early in the game, but other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all this video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.